They came from the unforgiving mountains of Central Asia, driven not just by ambition but by blood, the blood of conquerors, the blood of Genghis Khan and Timur. Babur was born in 1483 in the valley of Fergana, a beautiful yet dangerous land in modern-day Uzbekistan. His name meant tiger, and from the moment he entered the world, he carried the weight of legends. On his father's side, he descended from Timur the Lame, the one-eyed, iron-handed emperor who once scorched the earth from Delhi to Damascus. On his mother's side, the bloodline of Genghis Khan flowed, the storm that had once shaken the world. At just 12 years old, Babur inherited the throne of Fergana, a child king surrounded by scheming nobles and rebellious generals. But even as a boy, he had the steel of his ancestors. He was no puppet. He was a warrior in the making. The mountains tested him early. His first dream, Samarkand, the crown jewel of Central Asia, the seat of Timur himself. Babur fought tooth and nail for it, marching in snow, starving with his men, fighting off betrayal after betrayal. He captured the city once, then lost it, captured it again, lost it once more. It slipped through his fingers like desert sand. He was exiled from his own land, forced to roam the steppes and cities as a fugitive king. His followers thinned, his armies faded. There were moments when it seemed he would vanish, another forgotten prince in the blood-soaked pages of history. But Babur did not vanish. He learned. He hardened. He evolved. He realized something. Central Asia was a graveyard of endless civil wars and broken thrones. But to the south, there lay Hindustan, a vast land, ancient, rich, chaotic. A place where gold flowed in markets, but where unity was a myth. The Delhi Sultanate had grown corrupt, brittle. The Afghan Lodis ruled with fear, not respect. The Rajputs, proud, fearless, fragmented, fought each other more than their enemies. Babur watched, listened, waited. In 1524, the time came. He crossed the snow-fed waters of the Indus River with a small but loyal army. This was not a raid. This was a claim. He invoked Timur's legacy, a right to rule Hindustan. He brought with him not just horsemen but ideas. He had tasted Ottoman artillery, Safavid court discipline, Mongol cavalry tactics. He was a blend of three worlds, Turk, Mongol, and Persian. And now he would shape a fourth, India. He first tested the waters in Punjab. The governors resisted, weakly. The Lodis in Delhi ignored him, thinking him just another northern raider. But Babur kept coming. Then came 1526, the dusty plain of Panipat, where empires would rise or fall in a single day. Ibrahim Lodi, the Sultan of Delhi, commanded an army of over 100,000 men. He had war elephants armored in iron, endless infantry, and deeply rooted forts across the region. Babur? 12,000. But those 12,000 were not ordinary soldiers. They were veterans of mountain warfare, lightning-fast cavalry, and disciplined in the use of gunpowder, a weapon India had barely tasted in open war. Babur did what no Indian ruler had done. He adapted gunpowder warfare into battlefield formations. He chained carts together to form defensive barricades, placed cannons between them, and ordered his archers and musketeers to strike from behind cover. The battle began before dawn. The earth shook with the sound of cannon fire. Lodi's elephants charged, and were met not with spears but with explosions. Confusion erupted in the Sultan's ranks. Cavalry flanked them from both sides in a deadly Taluma maneuver, a tactic Babur perfected. By afternoon, the Delhi army was in chaos. Ibrahim Lodi himself was cut down in the mud. The field was soaked with blood. more than 20,000 men dead. Babur had done the unthinkable. With a force 10 times smaller, he had crushed the Sultan of Delhi. Not with brute strength, but with brilliance. He entered Delhi not as a looter, but as a ruler. There were no orgies of bloodshed, no temples torn, no palaces burned. He restored order. He distributed gold to the poor. He honored local customs. And he won the loyalty of many who had never bowed to a foreign king. But Delhi was only the beginning. Babur moved swiftly to Agra, where the spoils of conquest awaited. Precious stones, silk, ivory. But what caught his eye was the land itself. The fertile plains of the Ganga and Yamuna, the rivers that flowed like veins through the subcontinent. Here was a kingdom worth more than all of Central Asia. In Agra, under the burning sky and before nobles both Indian and foreign, Babur declared himself Padishah-i-Hind, the Emperor of India. He was no longer the boy king of Fergana, no longer the exiled warrior of Samarkand. He was the master of Hindustan. But the throne he now sat upon was no bed of roses. Trouble brewed in the east. The Rajputs stirred in the south. The Afghan chieftains who once served the Lodis were rising again. And among them was one man, fierce, brilliant, and ambitious. A lion waiting in the shadows. Sher Khan. The empire had been born, but its survival had only just begun. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more like it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This is just the beginning. In the next episode, we'll dive into the expansion of the Mughal Empire, how Babur's legacy was carried forward by Humayun, how an Afghan warrior, Sher Shah Suri, rose from the shadows to seize the throne, and how a young emperor named Akbar would one day reshape the destiny of India. In the coming parts, we'll explore the rise and fall of the Mughal Empire. And yes, we'll also go deep into the lives of every major Mughal emperor, from Akbar to Aurangzeb and beyond. So tell me in the comments, what do you think of this series so far? Which Mughal ruler are you most excited to learn about? I'm reading all your responses. See you in the next one.